Hi, my name is Wayne, and this is Type Tested. My current project is this Remington Standard Portable, now called the No. 1. This particular one is from 1920 or 1922, I can't remember exactly, and it was in pretty bad shape. Of course, the feet are gone, but it was also just covered with grime. I've done some stuff on the back and the carriage parts. The finish is kind of trash. You can see when I went to clean up the paper scale, the paint came off. So I'm gonna have to redo that. But in this case, I have a particular problem in how to deal with the pitting. So I'm gonna have to think about that, see if I can get a decent finish out of it. It's entirely possible that I will decide to send this particular typewriter out to have a restoration paint job done. I don't like doing that normally, but this one, if you look at the top of this, you can see that it's just seen better days. So, I mean, the body's not too bad, but just like the paper table, if you look at this wrong, paint seems to start coming off. So I think it's probably going to be necessary even if I don't want to. At any rate, what I'm here to talk about today is keys. Not these keys, these keys. So I wanted to talk about how to deal with gross, dirty, ugly, ridiculous key tops, since this one has it in spades. Now, let's see if I can get some of the reflection off of these keys. Let's start with, zoom down in here. And let's look at the number 4 first. And you can see that it's quite grungy. Now, because I don't have the typewriters in here, I can actually lift it up a bit. It's quite grungy, it's very disgusting, and it just needs help. So, whether they're glass or plastic covered or celluloid, as these are, now celluloid top on something of a cushion or pad, I'm not exactly sure what, but it's a little fibrous. The key point is to be able to get off all of the grime from the ring, to be able to clean up the surface, and where possible to be able to clean up the edge. Now, a lot of these are chrome plated steel, so that means that you have steel, copper, and chrome, because you can't plate chrome directly on steel. Just like nickel. So you put the copper on there, and then you bond the chrome to the copper. Now, that tends to mean that there's a fairly thin layer here, and in many cases, you might find it already showing through. So don't be surprised if you end up with a little bit of brown on the sides of the key. It's not desirable, but it's okay for a 100-year-old typewriter. So, first things first, what I usually do is I will go around and I will use this piece of pegwood that I've got, and I will carve a bit of a point on one side and a bit of a chisel on the other side, almost a screwdriver point. So then I will go around the sides of the keys here. Then I will grab the chisel end and gently scrape off things. And then I will go around the rim. And lastly, I will come back with my trusty little dental hook, and I will try to get right up by the rim. And this I don't put too much pressure on because I don't want to damage things. And if anything hasn't come off, I'll gently use the side of the hook as a scraper. And now, if I just take and kind of rub that off, you can see that it's already dramatically improved, but we're not done yet. Now, I'm going to do I'm going to put a little bit of simple green on a Q-tip. Try not to get too much. Go back over to the number 4 key. And kind of gently move around it. You got to be careful with the ones that are glass or plastic covered, because the liquid will get underneath it and it'll soak into the paper. So it's usually better to have a Q-tip that's just slightly damp. So in this case, though, I can use a little bit more force. All right, that takes care of that. Now I'm going to go around the edges. And I may not do all these in one step, or one key at a time. What I may do sometimes is just simply go assembly line fashion, do all the edge work first, then go back and scrape, and then use the pick, and then clean the top and then the sides, just so that I don't have to constantly change tools. Now, let's see how this looks. It's not too bad, but it's bad enough. So I'm going to have to go out and I'm going to have to use the Dremel a little bit on the side, maybe. On some of the worst ones, I know I will. But now I have one more thing that I do. And that is to make use of a little new finish on a Q-tip. That's actually more than I want, but oh well. We'll go in. On the top, make sure to carefully get the side. And the point of this is to get off whatever dirt I couldn't get out with the chemicals, as well as getting any residue off. Go back with the dry Q-tip. So I keep one end wet and one end dry. Get my cloth. Clean it up a bit. And light back on it and see how it looks. So there's number 4 key as compared to the number 5. You can see there's a considerable difference. I've already done the 2 and the 3. But the rest of these, and you can tell some of them are actually a little clouded. So those, let's just run over it quickly with the new finish just to prove that they will clean up. So a little more work there, and any clouded residue on that Y will be gone. And it'll look just like the number 4 here. So that's what I do for these keys. And for the rims, I may go back and use a little bit of flitz. And kind of work at it a bit. Brighten it up a bit. And if I do this, if I decide it needs it, usually I'll do this before I go back with the new finish. And remember, this is my personal collection. It is not a typewriter I'm doing for a customer. So for me, the time consideration is not a factor. What matters is what I think the typewriter needs and the time I'm willing to spend doing it, even if that means that this stays on the bench for 3 or 4 weeks, as they sometimes do. It's never going to be perfect, just because it's got that kind of pitted appearance on it. See if I can get a bit more light in the right spot. Yeah, so some of that's the reflection of my fingers. But you can see that it's got some pitting on it. There's some of the copper showing through. It's never going to be perfect, but I'm not after perfect right now. I'm after trying to make sure that I preserve the typewriter in as good a condition as I can manage. And for that, this process will do the job. Now, it's usually a little harder when, let's see here. Come on. Some things that are jammed up a bit, it looks like. I don't quite know what's going on with that. Anyway, it's usually a little harder when all the keys are up, because then what you have to do is you have to press down one or more keys to try to get access to the key that you're working on. It's usually possible, but increasingly difficult depending on where you are within the typewriter. So, I'll go back and figure out what's jamming that C up. Anyway, that's really what I wanted to show today. Just cleaning and polishing key tops on this Remington standard portable typewriter from about 1920, 1922. Once again, my name is Wayne, and this is Type Tested.